was thinking of the paradox of space, the paradox of seeming separation. And it really feels very much like paradoxical in the sense of two seemingly contradictory senses we have of this. And the one, of course, we're most familiar with is the sense of perceiving objects, perceiving phenomena, and that the phenomena being perceived are somehow objects, right? They're sort of over there, even if they're subjective states, like, you know, oh, there's a thought. There's a sense of seeing it as something, as perceiving it as something identifiable, right? There's a thought. It's a kind of like over there sense of that, just as with physical objects, like the green color outside my window of the trees in the distance. They're sort of over there, like perceiving as an object. There's some sense of um, they're kind of standing out in one sense as distinct from me. Just as I could look at you and the little boxes on the screen and see them as the boxes as objects, and each of you as people sort of situated within those little Zoom boxes, and kind of like it's over there, right? That sense of separation, seemingly, a sense of space, really. And a lot of this is just very sort of just there almost implicitly, a sense of subject object differentiation, being able to notice objects, also, again, including subjective states that we still experience as somehow perceivable objects, phenomena, right? So, this is just the kind of default view of the perception of phenomena, right? But I invite you to just feel into this moment of experiencing. And yes, there's all this stuff showing up that we think of as stuff, the phenomenal stuff of reality. The If your eyes are open, all the visual objects, the sounds you're hearing, my voice, I'm hearing rain, um, all the internal, we call them internal states, right? Body sensations, feelings, and so on. Little thought flickers. So here's all this, right? The display of phenomena, right? That which is being perceived. And now feeling this, the presence of experiencing, and noticing something quite remarkable, which is that at the same time that we have this sense of separation between the perceiver, the presumed perceiver, and what's being perceived, like I'm here and what's being perceived is over there, and no, there it is, somehow the sense of the observing faculty or me, the individual, standing apart from what's being perceived, right? Which is how it's showing up as other, as a phenomena. At the same time that that's there, that sense may be there. Now just feel, experience, and notice there's no separation anywhere. That you're not observing experience somehow or perceiving experiential phenomena as somehow other than those phenomena. You can't actually find a self that's perceiving. You can't find anything that's perceiving that's separate from what's being perceived, can you? Don't you just find, at least from this other perspective I'm inviting you into, absolutely no separation? That there's just experience. undivided, zero separation. You're not noticing experiences. You're not noticing phenomena. You are everything that's being noticed. In other words, there's just what's appearing. Everything is just appearing with no separation, with no division, with no space anywhere. Just feel, experience, and notice how everything we might think of or imagine to be out there being noticed is actually right here, here in experience, felt as experience, here, right here, not over there, here. No separation, complete intimacy. Intimacy, the intimacy is as intimate as possible because there's not two things. It's not two things being close, the perceived objects and the perceiving faculty so close that they're so intimate and touching each other. It's just one thing, one thing that isn't a thing, that can't be said what it is, and is just entirely beyond space, right? Because there's no separation. It's as if everything is collapsed into this pointless point of this. No separation. And yet this pointless point of non-dimensional, non-spatial, just here, just a point of reality, a point of experiencing. We have the sense of it being kind of stretched out, right? That's the sense of space. And stretched out, if we go spatially, infinitely, vast, boundless, right? No end to the space of experiencing, no edge. Isn't it strange? There's like absolute vast, edgeless space if we go out kind of spatially. And yet, at the same time, there's no space. There's just this point with no division. Just feel that. Feel the paradox of space, vastness, and absolutely no space. Everything collapsed into this pointless point of just here. No dimension. No separation between perceiver and perceived. Do you find separation? Or is there just this experience? Not someone watching or noticing or feeling an experience that's happening to them. Just this, which is what you are, this that's here. Like I've spoken about this before, that we think of here's the body, sort of the dividing line between us and the world within which the body exists, the world that's being perceived, and just see and experience that the entire field of experiencing, the entire field of what's showing up experientially is your body, is the body of experiencing. No separation. Just one thing, one reality, one life, one absolute inconceivable miracle of that can't be defined, it can't be spoken, that can't be resolved as being anything. And yet it shows up as the whole world that we call the whole world. But the key is to feel that our assumption of separation and division is just that, an assumption, because in experience, we find absolutely no separation, right? I could think of you as separate from me sitting here speaking, but in experience, as experience, do you find any dividing line? Do you find any boundary? Do you find anything but a continuum of experiencing? Just feel that. Feel the edgelessness of this, the lack of any no gaps, right? It's like that's what I mean by a continuum. It's not like I'm here, then there's a space, then you're over there, or the world's over there, um, or me here, the observer here, a gap, and then oh, there's those thoughts popping up in the space. It's how we think about it, but experientially, it's undivided. The perceiver and the supposed gap, and then whatever's being perceived, just a complete whole, a whole of experiencing, a whole of life, a whole of being, a whole of presence. There's no word for it. This ocean of existence, we could say, that arises as each instant, each momentary perception arises, as a wave-like expression of this boundless, edgeless, boundaryless reality, this sea of existence. And none of the waves that are appearing, though they appear as identifiable, autonomously existing, sort of separate phenomena that can be, oh, there's a thought, there's a sound, there's a feeling, there's a tree, there's a flower, there's a cloud, there's a world. It shows up like that in the same way that the ocean waves show up seemingly as distinctive waves. There's a wave, there's a different wave, and there's another wave rolling in. And yet we know, because we can look at the ocean and go, that's utterly not true. There are no waves. So all of these things we think of as separate phenomena are not actually separate, or have no autonomous existence apart from their basis, their ground, their whatever the ground is of everything, whatever is giving rise to each momentary perception. And all of it happening right now. Impossible to find anything that was in some supposed prior moment. That's gone. Maybe here in memory, but we only know this instant. Absolutely no future, just this instant that's so slippery and ever changing that it too is impossible to grasp hold of. In that sense, there's no time. But just in very much the way we could say that this pointless point, this non-spatial point of undividedness of experiencing, we encounter it as kind of stretched out as space and the space between phenomena. And the same with time, this flash instant here for no time. The only thing that exists in experience, this right now. Absolutely nothing that was, nothing that will be, just this, and this that's here for absolutely no time. Out of that, in the sense it's here for no time, in that sense, there's nothing here. The moment never comes into existence because its coming into existence is disappearing out of existence instantaneously. So it's never actually here. But what does that look like? It actually shows up as what we call the world and the flow of time and space and the passage of time. And really, so in all these investigations that I invite folks into in these meetings and my writings, it's just an invitation to discover the ways in which what's here, what's happening experientially, transcends all of the notions that we have about it, all of the ideas we have about it, time and space and cause and effect and separation. And when you look, you don't find those things. Not when you look at what's actually here, when you feel what's actually here. We think phenomena endure over time. But when you feel what's here, you don't find anything enduring over time, do you? You find a moment that's here for no time. And all of that I'm, pointing to is discoverable no matter what we're doing, no matter what's happening experientially, circumstantially, because all of it is the same inconceivable, indescribable presence, right? Every wave is a doorway into this sea of boundless infinity. So we don't have to correct any experience or twist it into something we presume to be closer to the truth, because every experience is the truth of life, of being, of presence. So we can just relax and feel that, feel every seeming upwelling of thought or emotion or sensation or circumstance to be the upwelling of reality as it is, and the simultaneous dissolving of that the letting go of the moment as it seems to appear happens spontaneously.